couldn't see it again, right?
No?
What the hell is going on? Because I could tell because when you talked, I could hear it, which shouldn't happen because it should mute you. There's something messing up there.
Yeah, I'm not even muted. Oh boy.
Anyway,
Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Pretty wild World Cup so far, right? I mean, it's been interesting to see what's been going on in group play, play all throughout the tournament. With some some big time upsets, some really good matches as well, and just some interesting storylines that have kind of developed throughout the tournament so far. I think one of the big ones you can probably say would be I don't know if it's I guess it is one of the big ones, right? Is the upsets of teams like Argentina losing early on. I believe it was Germany losing early on as well to Japan. So I mean, there's been some other ones. I think Belgium had some issues as well.
yeah, today.
So today, right? So I think that there's just a lot of different little things that you didn't expect to happen, but it is a World Cup. This is why it's exciting. This is why I don't want to say it's anybody's tournament to win, but some of the better teams it may struggle with some things, and Fish. I don't know if it's a fact of that they haven't been playing together for long enough. Some of these teams have fresh blood, right? New guys, new guys coming in and being a part of the actual World Cup team with not many caps, I guess that's how you would say, right? Not many caps under their name. So playing together with some of these older cats seems to be an issue for some of these teams, and missing some guys as well.
Yeah, and it's also we talked about this a little bit on the preview, but the whole like missing the normal run up where you play a bunch of friendlies and kind of get comfortable playing together. Teams didn't have a chance to do that, so that first game especially, a lot of them look disjointed because they're kind of trying to figure it out in the middle of the tournament. So that certainly played a role in some of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I want to recap real quick since we are today.
I've got like kind of the groups and the standings. We can
Perfect.
go through each of the groups.
Let's go and do that.
I'm going to cop out and use the Wikipedia page, but it presents it in the easiest way to digest it. So let me get that open, and we will.
Hopefully, I can see it. Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. Just that intro clip only on this show doesn't work because the Canes one is fine.
Right. Yeah, that's weird.
Hold on. Let me. Where is? Just a second. It's in the middle of. Okay. So here's Group A. We'll just go through the groups, I guess.
Oh, there you go. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So Group A. Excuse me. Not incredibly surprising, but you've got the Netherlands and Ecuador at the top right now that would advance. However, I believe there's some different scenarios where Senegal could still get through.
Oh yeah, so Senegal's playing Ecuador, so they win that, they're through.
There you go.
If there's a tie, that's probably there. It's probably Ecuador will definitely be through, and probably Netherlands because the Netherlands would have to lose to Qatar for a tie to be enough.
Right, and they're not losing. Qatar is Qatar is eliminated.
They're eliminated and they're terrible. So
yeah, they're really bad.
So that's that's probably going to be a win for the Netherlands. So really that Ecuador Senegal game is kind of for advancing, but goal difference and all that matters too, because if both Ecuador and Netherlands win, the goal difference will determine who wins the group, which gives you an easier second round match.
Now, and this one really quick, right? Has it hurt the Senegal and both pretty good teams, right? Ecuador and Senegal, not bad. Has it hurt Senegal that Sadio Mane is not playing for them? Has that been kind of an issue for that Senegalese? Did I say that right? Senegalese team.
Senegalese.
Is that going to be is that an issue for them? Do you think that if they had him, it'd be kind of a little bit of a different storyline for that team?
Yeah, I think it's been somewhat of an issue. I think, that Netherlands game, like they played really well and gave up those 2 late goals. And that really hurts now because, Ecuador goes into this match knowing that a tie is good enough for them. And Senegal knows a tie and they're basically out. So that puts them in a disadvantage. But yeah, Mane would definitely help. But they have a lot of they're a talented team. They have a lot of other good players, so they're gonna get that's gonna be a really good match, I think.
I'm looking forward to that one. It's if I can watch it.
Yeah, we're getting into the the whole we're at
Now
work
we're
and
back
stuff.
at work, and this is crazy. And speaking of back at work, there's a very important game in Group B
Yeah.
on Tuesday at 2 p.m. That we're gonna have to figure something out. I have to talk to my boss if we have to take like an extended lunch hour from like 2 to 4 instead. But this is a big one. How have you been impressed? I guess the first game against Wales wasn't very impressive in the second half, right? The first half was really nice for the U.S. team. But have you been impressed with the way that they've played against well, are you impressed with the way they played against England in that match recently? And as we look at the standings here, it's the same thing as the first one, right? If the U.S. beats Iran in this game on Tuesday, they advance with England.
Yeah, and it is I mean, I think it's disappointing to be in this position given the way they've played. You felt like they should have gotten more out of both those games. I mean, flatly better team against England in that game and
Yep.
tied.
Yeah,
Better team
they
than
dominated
Wales.
them, right? They dominated them.
Yeah, better team than Wales and tied. So now you're sitting here, okay, now you gotta win this game against Iran, who is good. Like they're not a pushover.
Right.
And they score goals. So it's not gonna be easy, and it feels like they shouldn't be in that position. And certainly the goal against Wales was such a stupid penalty to commit that that still hurts because if you have those 2 points and you're sitting there at the top of the group, you're basically through. So that's
Well,
disappointing.
for me, what's tough for me is that they just played a really taxing game against a team like England, right? I mean, they're up for it. They were excited. They were dominating the game for the most part. They played with a certain intensity level, right? Where they were just completely, just zeroed in on this game, right? Where now they've got to turn around at 2 and do the same thing. I'm sorry, at 2 on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Yeah, they've got to turn around and do the same thing again with that same type of intensity because, like you mentioned, Iran is not a bad team. So you've got to go out there and you've got to play with that same intensity again. You've got to be up the whole entire game. That's what kind of worries me. It gets me nervous because is this team ready to do that? Because Iran's going to come out and say we're going to beat the crap out of these Americans because we want to get through, right? So can they play to that level again? That level of intensity like they did against England. If they do, I think they can win not easily, but I think they can win
I mean,
and get through without a problem per se.
so it's a good question. I am a little concerned that they put too much stock in the England game. I said this before the game. I was like, look, England has better players than the United States, but it's not the gap isn't that big,
Right.
as like the discussion before that game was. They're like, oh my god, this team's a juggernaut. I was like, this isn't like Pele's Brazil.
Right.
And I did see like after the game, like Booger Halter giving his locker room talk time about great job, everyone, enjoy this. And I'm just like, you tied England. like, what do you think you just accomplished?
Not
And I do
only
worry
that,
a little bit.
not
I
only
do
that,
worry a
but you
little bit.
brought in Gio in like the 81st minute. Like, get out of here! What are you doing? How upset were we? We're watching that. How upset were we? Oh, I lost you, Vish. Did I lose you?
They look at Iran, who lost England 6-2, and think, oh, we can, definitely go in there and get 3 points. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Because Iran just needs a tie pretty much, unless Wales beats England. If Wales beats England, then Iran also probably needs to win. So, but if Wales doesn't beat England, then Iran will go through the tie. And if you saw any of that game that they played against Wales, they are very dangerous on the counterattack. So as this game goes on at 0-0, the U.S. is going to have to keep pushing more and more people forward because the tie doesn't do anything for them.
Right.
And I do worry get hit on the counter. So I expect Iran to play defensively and counterattack, and they're very good at that. So in the U.S., we talked about how well they've been playing. There's just no one, like not having a good striker to finish these chances off is a problem, and I don't even know who they should put up there.
Well, I think I would probably say Gio might be the closest thing to that, right?
Well, I mean, I think if you put Gio in, you're talking about kind of playing like a false nine and not actually having a striker. I mean, he's used Haji right, and he's used Josh Sargent, and
Right.
this is where not bringing Pepe, is going to be controversial if they can't score goals. But yeah, I would probably use Gio as a false nine and kind of play a little bit that direction. But goals have been there's 1 goal in 2 games. It's one of the lower
tough.
totals. So
Yep.
and half to score. So
Exactly. I mean, you can't draw and get through. So
yep.
I mean, you
Draw.
could, but
No, you can't.
oh really? So it
Draw
doesn't
and you're
matter
out.
even
You
if
gotta
Wales
win.
wins. Oh, so
Yeah, even
basically
if
you gotta win.
Wales wins and there's a draw, then the US just finishes in the
Gotcha.
last. You
Winning,
can see
you're
the
in.
point totals. It'll be if there's a draw, Iran gets to 4 points. The US is on 3. They're out because England's already on 4. So
Gotcha.
So now the US does, assuming they can win, they do want, you are pulling for Wales here, because that does mean winning the group is still in play.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
if Wales beats England and the US wins the group.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which again, that would lead to a technically easier second round match. Now it is A versus B matched up, so.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you would get one of these teams.
Yeah, either the Netherlands or.
Which I mean, looking at the way they played, maybe there isn't a big difference between first and second because there hasn't really been much difference between Senegal, Netherlands, and Ecuador so far.
Right. All right, let's check out Group C here real quick.
Yeah, this is one of the, like you said, one of the surprises.
Yeah, this has definitely been a surprise. I saw caught some of these games recently. Right now, as it stands, it's Poland and Argentina. Argentina did go down early on in the tournament to Saudi Arabia, who's been playing really tough. Right, they've been playing pretty good. They did lose to Poland yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and Argentina got one over on Mexico. So. I feel like there's a lot still in play here in this one, right? You still look, as you can see, it doesn't say that anybody is eliminated yet. So
yeah. So just overall, the only teams eliminated are Canada and Qatar.
Right. So I mean, this is gonna be fun to watch on Wednesday, because if Poland loses, there's a good chance that they would be eliminated, right? If
so the big thing to look at here is the goal differential.
Right. This is where it's going to come into play, right?
If results go a certain way. So they're +2, Argentina's +1, Saudi Arabia's -1, and Mexico's -2. So if Mexico were, for example, to win 1-0, they'd still be behind Poland if Poland lost 1-0. So, margin.
They do matter.
And helped Argentina's luck because they're already +1. They're probably okay with a tie.
Gotcha.
Because if there's a tie, Poland will go to 5 points and win the group probably, unless Saudi Arabia beats Mexico. Saudi Arabia beats Mexico, that kind of changes things. And obviously, like you said, they beat Argentina. But looking at the goal differential, if there's a tie between Poland and Argentina, and then that means that really Mexico would have to win by 3 goals against Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So it's not, and Mexico, by the way, is perennially gets out of the group stage. This is going to be one of their kind of worst failures here if they don't turn around.
They're playing Saudi Arabia, so
yeah,
I mean,
they
there's
need to
an
score
opportunity,
a lot.
but Saudi Arabia has been playing really well.
Yeah, but they need to score a lot. I think that's the key because you look at that, they got to make up 4 goals against Poland.
Right.
Like if Argentina beats Poland, which is I think what most people would expect,
Right.
Argentina looks like they got everything kind of going again against Mexico. So if they beat Poland and Mexico beats Saudi Arabia, they would be tied with Poland on 4 points, and it goes to goal differential. So they gotta make up the difference here.
Speaking of Argentina, some interesting news coming from Lionel Messi. Well, I don't know, man. The connection sucks today. Jesus.
Yeah, no, it went out, but you're back now. I can hear you again now. I think it's on my end actually.
It might be. That's all right.
It's been not good.
Speaking of Argentina, though, as I mentioned, possibly some news coming out of Lionel Messi's camp there, where he may be coming down to South Florida and joining Inter Miami. I know that there's a lot of there's a lot that could still happen, but I mean, all signs point to him potentially inking a deal with Inter Miami very soon, which would be interesting because that Inter Miami team looks like it's going to be pretty badass with Sergio Busquets looking to come play over here as well. So you've got Busquets, you've got Messi potentially, you've got some other guys. You've got DeAndre Yedlin there still, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty good squad for Inter Miami, but I think that's it's an interesting move for Messi. I I I I don't want to say I don't get it because I get it, right? There's a lot of guys coming over to the U.S. and playing, whether they're a little bit older or not, like Gareth Bale's now with LAFC, I think, or the Galaxy. I'm not sure which one he's with, but he's in with
He's
that
with LAFC.
FC. Okay, he's with LAFC, and we saw him come in and make an immediate contribution to that team. They won it all, right? They won the MLS, so
Yeah, he scored the
he
goal to
did.
set
He
it to
scored the
penalties in the last minute.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't surprise me. It is kind of like a second home for a lot of these big time players like the Messis and Ronaldos and so on and so forth. So, I know it's kind of going away from the World Cup, but it's still some pretty big soccer news. How do you feel about the move for Messi to come to Inter Miami?
Yeah, I obviously, if it happens, it would be great. He's still he's definitely not what
He
he
can still
used to
ball
be.
though. He played well yesterday.
Yeah, but again, there's a difference between doing it in a World Cup where it's a very different tournament than doing it over a league year. With that said,
It's still Messi.
come on.
Right.
So we're not getting Messi from 5 years ago, but we're getting plenty here. And I do think it is kind of a matter of when versus if. There's talk he might try to stay in do another 1 year at Paris. I think eventually he does come here. It's just, again, it's a matter of, is it this summer? Is it the summer after that? Whenever. But I think he'll eventually be in Miami.
That'll be huge because I'll tell you what, where I was at for lunch today would be slammed every single day that Inter Miami plays.
Yeah,
that'll be crazy there.
And again, it's so one of the things that they did early on MLS is they would bring in these big names that were way past their prime and couldn't actually contribute on the field.
Right.
Yeah, he's definitely not that. He's going to come in and score goals and lead the line and doesn't have to do a lot of running, which is big at his age, right? Because you're asking, and that's why I mentioned Busquets. That's probably a terrible idea, to be honest.
Yeah.
The position he plays requires you to cover a lot of the field. MLS is really a physical league.
Yeah.
It's a lot of running. It's a lot of bad fields. Some of them are baseball. Summer Inter Miami got eliminated playing on the Mets field. I mean,
Right.
going across third base. What the hell is that? So, for getting someone like Messi who can, roll out of bed and score a goal is very different than trying to get a holding midfielder that has to run a ton in the summer heat in this country and all. It's not. I'd be a little bit more worried about something like that. But Messi's no brainer, not just from a marketing standpoint. I mean, he's going to lead the league in goals
and whatever else he wants.
This would be a slam dunk. And again, I think it's a matter of when, is it this year? Is it maybe the year after or whatever?
Right.
But I think it'll happen. And I think this is the place he wants to be. So,
Sure.
Because I don't think he wants to go anywhere else in MLS. So I think he'll be in Miami eventually.
I agree. And closing out Group C, Wednesday morning to Wednesday afternoon, whatever. We'll see. We'll see how
these are at 2 p.m. These are at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So in the last set of games, you do the sign. These are Qatari time, but it is 8 hours back. So they played against the same time, so they can't rig the result.
That's interesting.
Because what will happen is if you. Okay, so let's say Mexico beats Saudi Arabia 1-0, right? And they weren't playing at the same time. Mexico now has 4 points, but their goal differential is -1.
Right.
Then Argentina and Poland would know, hey, if we just tie 0-0, we both go through.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that has actually happened. Shockingly, the Germans and Austrians fixed a.
No way.
Fixed a match in the World Cup, and that's when they started playing them at the same time in the last set of games.
Smart move. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, I mean it's natural. I mean they didn't formally we're fixing this. They just kind of passed the ball around for 90 minutes and took a 0-0. Right. Which is what you would do. Why are you going to risk getting eliminated?
I agree.
So that's why if you'll notice these games are at the same time. All of these last sets.
Gotcha.
So you can't do that.
All right, so let's check out Group D here real quick.
France is the only team that has already advanced.
France is a team that has advanced. They did not struggle at all with anybody. I mean, I think they conceded a goal early with Denmark, and same thing with Australia. But once they put on their jets, I mean, there's no stopping them. They seem to be the team to beat right now. Maybe with Brazil as well, but they seem to be like the team that is poised for a repeat, really. So as they do come in as the defending champs, Australia's I think is a surprising one up there. I thought it was Denmark. I know Australia is not a terrible team, and Tunisia is really not great, but excited to see Australia up there, but also a little bit surprised by it also because I think that now this Australia Denmark game again, another really important game, right? It's
it's the
Denmark
same.
wins and they're in.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of similar, scenario stuff. But yeah, if Denmark wins, they'll they'll definitely finish ahead of Australia, and Australia will be out. Right. It's a question of somehow Tunisia beats France, then they could potentially go through.
Right. Well, a little disappointed with Denmark, though. I mean, draw. It was a draw with Tunisia, and then they lost to France 2-1.
They played okay against France. I mean, that was kind of expected. The Tunisia not getting any points, only getting the 1 point out of that is what's got them in this situation now because Australia was able to beat Tunisia.
Tunisia, right? Which, it's not. I mean, they only beat them 1-0. So the whole Denmark. I think Denmark, has an opportunity here. I think they could get through, but
they're favorites. But Australia should probably feel pretty comfortable, playing defensively, and playing for a tie. Now, with that said, if Tunisia does beat France and Australia and Denmark tie, Tunisia will go through on goal difference.
Isn't that crazy? That's
so
crazy, right?
So Tunisia is not a pushover either. They're very good in Africa. So
that's true.
It's one of those things where in these last rounds of games, especially when they basically, I mean, pretty much France has won the group, right? They technically Australia could win. But
did you get that Amber Alert at the same time I did?
Was that what that was? My phone started buzzing and I moved it.
That's exactly what it was.
Duval County.
Really? Duval. All right.
All right then. It's like 6 hours away. All right. But
that's because I think that's because Jacksonville beat the Ravens.
The Ravens.
I'm sorry to make light of it, but whatever.
So you see these weird things happen in the last games when teams don't have anything to play for.
Right.
And the last thing you want to do if you're Australia is play for a tie and watch Tunisia beat France 1-0 because France doesn't really care.
Well, you're probably not going to see a lot of Mbappe. You're probably not going to see a lot of
they should rotate anyone that's on a yellow. They'll probably not play. You don't want to get anyone suspended.
Exactly.
Although they might have been smart to have some of their players take their shirts off at the end of the game and get yellow cards to get suspended for the third game and get the cards cleared.
Yeah. Well, the cards clear after group stage, right?
No, they clear after the quarterfinals.
Oh crap! Okay,
gotcha. So you got to play. If you got to play 5 games on those, that's what I was saying. I don't know if they had the opportunity to do this, but after Mbappe scores that goal in the 86th minute, if you got a yellow, you want to try to get another once you get suspended for that Tunisia game, and then have the cards cleared for the knockout stage. But
that's true. That's funny.
All likelihood it'll come down to Australia, Denmark. But there have been times where powers have lost their last game just because they rotated everyone, they're not really into it, and the other team is fighting for everything.
Right. Exactly.
So stuff can happen there. So Australia
could. It definitely could. Let's see what Group E is looking like here.
Group E.
Okay. All right. Well, as you can see, I've got my hat on today, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I wasn't too upset. I mean, I was a little bit when we conceded that goal at the end to Fulkrug. It was tough because, man, you thought you had this locked down with that 1-0. You were kind of controlling possession. You had the possession. But look, this Germany is one of the best teams in the world for a reason, right? They are loaded. They haven't been playing as good as you would expect, right? With a big loss to Japan in the opening game, so that was huge. Spain rolled over Costa Rica 7-0. So that's that doesn't really matter. We kind of saw that coming, but then turn around and Japan loses to Costa Rica in the second game. So now you're talking about this kind of getting all bunched up here in the middle again, but not only in the middle, but Spain. You think, oh, Spain with a win over Germany, they actually advance, and they wouldn't have. As a matter of fact, it would have still. We would have still had to see what happens with
No,
with the
well, I
Japan
mean,
game.
it wouldn't have officially,
Right, it wouldn't
like,
officially,
but it
but
would have done it because of the goal difference. Like,
right,
there's just no way that Spain's really losing a tie of any kind on goal
yeah,
difference.
because of that 7-0 win to
Yeah,
Costa Rica. I
so
get it.
and
So
and basically, there's no way Costa Rica's winning a
right,
tie on goal difference.
not
So
so not necessarily the worst outcome that could have happened. Right, it was actually a really really good match between Spain and Germany today. Um, but you saw that this Spain team. Look, I think their biggest weakness is defending set pieces. Right, we all know that. That I think that's their biggest thing is defending set pieces. Although they're really smart with how they defend them, as far as getting a lot of offside calls and things like that, because of how they hold the. I believe this is how it's called. They hold the line really
yeah,
well.
they play a high
But
line,
it's still
which
but it's still their weakness, right? Is defending a lot of set pieces. So that's how they almost got scored on with Rudiger, but he was offside. So aside from that, like this ticky tack soccer that they play is it's frustrating for a lot of other opponents, and it shows in a lot of teams as they really do a really good job. They're probably one of the best handling teams in the world. And my only issue with them is the same with kind of the U.S. Although they are one of the Spain is obviously one of the best teams in the tournament as well. Their biggest issue, I think, is that they don't have that striker, right? I mean, they've got a couple guys there that can do some things, Asensio and Morata, but they don't have that one guy, like you mentioned, Vish, for the U.S. team that could at any moment just put the ball in on him, and he's gonna make some absolute magic happen with his feet, kind of like a Neymar or something like that. They don't really have that one guy like that. They've got they are the ultimate team. Let's put it that way. Which I think that they'll be fine moving forward. But it was an interesting match to say today, to say the least.
yeah, and you could see how they. So I do think that the 7 goals they scored is probably a bit of an outlier. They do kind of
Sure.
struggle to. They have this ability to dominate play, carry games, and then not actually punch it in and score.
Right.
And you saw that for a lot of today. They kind of carried the play
Happened.
most of
It
the
happened like
game,
2 or 3 times, right? With Ferran
and
Torres, and it happened with Morata
yeah, and then
again today.
finally Morata scored.
Finally, not Morata with Asensio. It happened with
Yeah,
Asensio.
no, but I mean
Early.
that's the. I wouldn't be surprised if Morata starts the next game actually. But that's the issue you kind of run into when you dominate this much possession. To your point, it kind of leaves you exposed at the back a little bit. You could see a situation where they get in trouble getting counterattacked.
Right.
Because they're so open at the back because they're holding the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been, I would say, overall a really good 2 games for them. Not so much for Germany.
I know.
But if they win, they'll probably go through. I mean, again, it's relying on other results, and the big issue Germany has is that 7 goal difference for Spain, because really if Germany beats Costa Rica and there's a tie in the Japan Spain game, then it comes down to margin of how bad Germany beat Costa Rica versus Japan. Japan will have a 0 goal differential, so Germany should be okay at that point
Right.
on goals scored, so they'd probably go through. But if it's like a high scoring tie or something, that like if it's like a 2-2 or something, then they wouldn't be. But the big thing, like if somehow Japan shocks Spain, Germany's basically out
That's crazy.
because they're not going to make up the 8 goals on Spain. So the best they
Right.
could do is tie them on 4 points, and that's not going to be enough.
Right.
and which is why Spain is in
good shape. They're in good shape.
yeah, they're only going to run into issues if they lose and Costa Rica beats Germany, then they're out.
Right.
But any other
Which would be the biggest shock of the whole entire tournament, right?
Well, no, the Saudi Arabia one is still probably worse. Costa Rica's made the quarterfinals, like in Brazil, so they're not.
They did. You're right.
So the Saudi Arabia is beating Argentina is off the charts type of stuff. But again, fair play to Spain. That 7-0, huge.
That's huge.
Any kind of like the scenarios where they get into trouble, it's really outlandish. Just because if anyone ties them, they're going to be in front.
Right.
So stuff like where they don't have to worry, well, what if Costa Rica and Germany tie and then they lose to Japan? No, don't have to worry about that because the goal difference is just out of whack, right? So So they're in excellent shape. They'll almost certainly go through.
But
the other spot is way up for grabs.
The second spot? Oh yeah. This is a crazy one because if you look at this group early on, you're like, oh, it's easy. It's Spain and Germany all the way to the top teams in the whole entire world. I mean, this is going to be easy for them. But Japan is given this whole entire group a run for its money. I think what you mentioned earlier about Spain and starting Morata instead of Asensio, I think it might be a smart move because you have to see what you can get out of Morata early in the game to see if they can get on the board, if they can put the ball in the net early with him with that striker position being more effective because Danny Olmo's playing great on one side. He really is. He's having himself a day. You've got the kids in the middle with Pedri and Gavi and those young guns are doing a hell of a job. But for me, it's about getting Morata or Asensio going.
And I think it'll be interesting if they decide to if Luis Enrique decides to put Morata in from the start. If Asensio gets dropped or Ferran Torres.
He's not going to drop Ferran Torres. He's dating his daughter. You can't drop that guy.
Oh, you can absolutely drop him, man.
I like Ferran Torres. I like what he does a lot. I think that he's an exciting player. He creates a lot. The guy behind him also is very exciting. He's young. He doesn't have a lot of experience. Nico Williams is I think he's going to be a big time guy for Spain moving forward. Maybe not so much this tournament. You did see him come in later on. In today's match against Germany, and I think that was big. I think where Spain made a mistake, a quote unquote mistake, was that right after they did their substitutions, where they brought Koke in, and they brought I don't remember who else it was.
They brought Nico in at the same time.
They brought Nico and Koke in. Is something happened there that. The defense kind of broke down, and Fulkrug, was able to put the ball in the net. And they were talking about it before. I know you were watching the match also, but they were talking about how Fulkrug is leading the German league in goals, and this is his first time playing on the national. Well, this is his first time in a World Cup. He's only had 3 games. I think it's 3 matches previously with the national team, and I mean, that's a guy right there. They brought him in, and he he immediately made an impact. So I think that Spain needs to do a better job there, and I think Germany on the other end, I think needs to bring him in maybe a little bit sooner to kind of get things going because you're without Timo Werner because he's out, right? He's hurt. And then I think you were out someone else. They mentioned someone else that they were out. So they lost Werner there with the injury. Bring in Fulkrug earlier. For him to make an impact on that match.
Yeah, and they're going. Obviously, they definitely need to win, and they need to win and hope that Spain wins, and then they're fine. And they're probably fine if Spain and Japan draw too. But they obviously need to win, so they need to they need to score. So
they do
an option to start.
Not only that, look, it's tricky because they, from what I understand, if I saw this correctly, Germany against Japan, they held possession for over 80% of that match, and still gave up 2 goals. So that to me is a concern for them, with the opportunities that they may give up, even if they do. And then it's kind of like what Spain does, right? They hold the ball for a while, but they kind of
Yeah, and Costa Rica, they have to be looking at this and thinking, look, we gotta hope Spain beats Japan, and then we go through with the tie.
Right.
So they got there. I'm assuming they're going to sit behind the ball. No, like you said, Germany does leave space at the back, so they'll try to hit on the counter just like Japan did.
Right.
But they're thinking worst case, let's try to get out here with the tie, and hope Spain beats Japan, and then we're through. So yeah, they could be through with scoring 1 goal across 3 games, and losing one of their games 7-0. But that's on the table for them. It's not unrealistic if they can somehow tie that game. You'd expect Spain to beat Japan.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And then they would go through.
All right.
Now we're getting Group F.
Group F. Well, here's another surprise, right? It's Croatia, Morocco. Surprise is maybe a strong word, but at the same time, I don't think you expected Belgium to be outside of the advancement right now going into the third game. You've got Croatia and Morocco there. Morocco again with a big win over Belgium a few days. Actually, it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Yeah, it was yesterday. Big
was
win.
This morning.
Was it this morning?
Feels like yesterday. I think it was the 5 a.m. game. I think.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yesterday.
You're so right. With a big loss to Morocco. Morocco also playing some really really good soccer. Draw with Croatia in the first game. Belgium beats Canada's out already, so
they're out.
rough showing for Canada. I know they were playing well in CONCACAF and leading into this, but this is just kind of being dominated by these.
Yeah, there's a whole discussion to have about the performance of the CONCACAF teams because they're all pretty. I mean, actually, Costa Rica might have a decent enough chance to get out if they can somehow tie Germany, but Canada's out. Mexico's basically out.
Mexico's struggling. Yep.
The U.S. needs to beat Iran,
right,
to get
but
through.
They played okay. I think the best team the best team out of CONCACAF that's played right now is the U.S.
They are, but they only 2 points and 1 goal scored. Costa Rica's won a game, but they're -6 or on the goal difference. Right. So it's not been a good tournament for CONCACAF.
Oh man. It has not been good. You are absolutely right. Croatia seems to be rolling right now, right? They're playing really well all throughout. I like to call them the fighting Luka Modric's, but that's just the Madridista in me. They look to be a strong team in the tournament. Morocco playing, like I said, playing really well. I think Belgium figures it out. I think they find a way to get through. But again, it's not going to be easy. It's against Croatia.
Well, this is the thing, right? So,
and Croatia still needs to win, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. No. Croatia is definitely okay with a draw,
right?
And
I think Morocco's probably okay against Canada right now.
Well, I mean, if they win that game, they definitely go through. I mean, Belgium's in trouble. They're in big trouble because they got to go out there and they got to win this game against Croatia. Otherwise, they're in deep trouble because even a draw, Morocco and Canada draw, Morocco's through. They're going to make the next round.
Well, yeah. Well, what's crazy is that, and you mentioned it, if Belgium beats Croatia, Croatia's out.
Croatia will probably be out.
And they've been playing really well. So they've been playing well. So that's just nuts.
Yeah, and this is where scoring the goal difference does come into play a little bit. That Croatia is protected with the +3 right now. Now I guess in some weird scenario where Belgium and Canada win, Croatia would probably go through instead of Morocco.
That would be
in second place, and Belgium would definitely go through as first place in that instance. But Belgium needs to win. Like a draw is probably not going to do it,
right?
Because even a draw and a Morocco loss, they're probably not making up the goal difference. So
that's crazy.
So
I think they need to win. Maybe the biggest thing we can take away from this is the way Morocco's playing. More than anything else is how good they are playing and how
they're
not a bad team. Again, another
they have and one of the things that we've seen in this tournament, you talked about this at the front, is just some of these upsets are just coming because teams, spend more time practicing together, and some of these teams that have a lot of players spread throughout different clubs in Europe,
right?
They never really play with each other, and some of these other, smaller countries which have a lot more people in their domestic league, some of them are off season, right? They don't.
Right.
Not everyone uses, like MLS uses like a different calendar, right? They're not the only league that does that. So their season might have ended in like September, October, and they've been able to like prepare a lot more, right? So you're seeing.
By the way, I'm listening to you. I got to charge my computer. I just realized I didn't have the charger on it. So go ahead, continue there.
Anyway,
at least you got a good background.
Yeah, I can't even see it because I got the other screen up, so I don't know what you're doing over there. I'm still not at my home office setup, so I got one screen that's showing the Wikipedia right now.
Well, it's a good background for some. It's a depressing one for others, right? It's the Canes flag, and
you know what? Big win by basketball today.
Actually, it's the Canes and Ferrari flag. So it's pretty depressing for a lot of people right now. Actually,
it was a good win by basketball. Though.
It was
good basketball. Good job.
That's a good team there. UCF, coached by I forgot what the guy's name from Duke
Johnny Dawkins.
Johnny Dawkins. There you go.
No, that one will help the resume down the road.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, back to this. Yeah. So I mean, Belgium's in deep crap, and looking at this, it does look like Belgium or Croatia is going to go.
So it's between them, really. I mean, probably.
Well, one of them's probably, unless Morocco loses to Canada, one of them is going to go, because all Morocco needs is a draw against Canada, and they're definitely through.
Gotcha. Crazy, man. Crazy.
All right, now we're getting to the ones that are, they've only played one game, so a lot less defined here.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So yeah,
because these are all tomorrow. Their second games are tomorrow.
Second games are tomorrow. And by the way, the group stage ends at the end of this week, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and then the knockout stage starts on Saturday.
On Saturday. Okay, good. Oh, thank God. I feel like this first stage is taking forever, but it actually has it. It's actually
it's only been a week. The tournament started last week.
It's crazy.
And this day, on Sunday.
All right, so obviously Brazil with a win over Serbia, with two really really awesome goals by Richarlison. That name kills me, but it's hard to say sometimes. Richarlison. Yeah, Richarlison. It's probably the goal of the tournament so far with that, I guess, backwards bicycle style kick. So that was really cool. Switzerland, in I think the more, I guess it wasn't a shocking win. It wasn't at all, but
no,
it's a good win against a good Cameroon team, basically.
Yeah, and I think coming in, it was kind of like Brazil and Switzerland were the favorites.
Right.
They got their 3 points. Now they're playing each other, so it's kind of like who's going to win the group type of stuff.
Yeah.
Although, Neymar's out probably for the rest of the group stage with the injury. So
that's such a loaded team over there, the Brazilians.
Yeah, but he's still who they run the ball through. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit of an adjustment. Switzerland's a strong team. This will be a good game tomorrow. It's at 10 a.m. 10 or 11? I think maybe 11.
11.
Yeah,
11. Back, 11.
Yeah, it's at 11. But that'll be a good game to watch there, because I mean that's probably deciding the group. But then if you lose that game, all of a sudden that third game you're in trouble, right? So because someone will, if you're Brazil and Switzerland, you're hoping for a tie in that Cameroon Serbia game. That way you can lose the Brazil Switzerland game in second place. But yeah, so Switzerland's a very good team as well. That should be a good game, and I still think, regardless of what happens there, I think both those teams will probably go through.
This is actually a solid group, though.
It's a strong group.
Yeah, Cameroon and Serbia can play some.
Yeah, no, there is not a really weak team. I think all 4 of these teams in another group could have gotten through.
I agree.
So it's a tough group, but kind of always been on Brazil to not fumble it at this level, at least.
Right. And then I guess moving on to Group H, the same thing. Another group that just got going on Thanksgiving. Portugal with listen, a tough win against
that was
another Ghana team that can play a little bit, man. They're really good. So
probably the game of the tournament, just the back and
I
forth
would
there.
agree.
That game got crazy.
I would agree. And Uruguay with the draw against South Korea. South Korea, another strong team as well. They've got some players on that team. But this is going to be an interesting group to watch because again, it's another solid 4 teams in the group that could probably advance in some other groups that have been paired up. So I think it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's not really a team there's not a matchup that you really expect. Okay, we're definitely getting 3 points in this game. So
right.
It does make things difficult now. Obviously, Brazil beating Ghana in that back and forth.
Portugal
puts them in a huge advantage. Sorry, yeah, Portugal.
Yeah.
They speak Portuguese.
Yeah, they speak the same. It's language.
But anyway,
language, the semantics, whatever. That's it.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Oh man.
Actually, like Brazilian Portuguese sounds way different than
I know.
Portuguese. But anyway, yeah, no, they obviously have a big advantage if they can qualify right now by winning that Uruguay.
That game's gonna be fun though. Uruguay's a strong team.
They're strong defensively.
The Fighting Valverdes.
So it'll be a good match. And then they'll know the result of that South Korea Ghana game because it's earlier. That's the 5 a.m.er. So
what's his face is still over there, right? The Mike Tyson of soccer. Luis Suarez. Suarez is still playing for them.
Yes, he is still on Uruguay.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good game. I think I like that game. I think I like believe it or not, I like South Korea. To really give everybody a run for their money in this group.
Yeah, and that South Korea Ghana game is going to be, like I said, it's first. It's going to be critical to how that Portugal Uruguay game plays out because, like you said, if South Korea beats Ghana, they're sitting there on 4 points. When Portugal and Uruguay kick off, that puts a lot more pressure, in particular on Uruguay, to go win the game.
Right.
If that ends up as a draw, the South Korea Ghana game, then I think you'll see a much more defensive game between Portugal and Uruguay. So, they'll know that result before, and it might dictate how they play.
One thing going for Portugal is, again, right, one of the best players in the world. They've got the man over there who is who's in the news recently as well, right?
He doesn't have a club. Speaking of Inter Miami, there's available on a free, man.
You've got two of the best players ever in the world.
I don't think they can coexist.
Oh man! Hey, listen, Messi's doing it right now at PSG with Mbappe and what's his face and Neymar. So I mean, anything can happen. No, but seriously, I think that tomorrow's those matches are going to be fun.
These are again. I think actually all of the matches tomorrow are really even.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some good games.
Oh yeah. What else do we got? there?
That's the last group.
Is that it? Oh wow.
Yeah, and then again, the only team that's qualified is France.
It's France.
And so
a little bit of history on France there.
Yeah, just in case you want to know the history of their soccer team. And then this is like we said, the knockout stage starts this weekend.
So how are our brackets looking right now? Are they? Is there really anything that we can see?
Yes, I have the other tabs. I never close them.
You like that segue?
This is still running.
Perfect.
This is Moni's.
Okay. So Moni's right now is
Netherlands, Ecuador is what it is.
Yep.
She picked Wales. Oh, this is her England hate, which we discovered in full throated support.
Oh yeah,
as she transformed into a full-blooded American.
When
we were watching that,
you gotta like American football, all right, to be a full-blooded American. That's for a conversation for a later day. But
anyway, so she went and picked Wales, which is not looking good to win the group.
No.
Argentina, Mexico also not looking good.
Nope.
Argentina will probably win that group,
right?
Actually, so that one will probably come good. But
Mexico, it's 3 or 4 that are.
Mexico not looking good there. France, Australia, that's looking pretty good.
Yep, on par there.
Germany, Spain. Germany's definitely not winning that group. But she might get the 2 teams right. Croatia, Belgium. That's
probably not.
That's not. I don't think that can happen. Actually,
no.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
Yeah, So that's not happening.
Morocco could potentially win that group. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, they could definitely win. In fact, they might be favorites. It depends, like, because Croatia and Croatia and Belgium tie and Morocco beats Canada, they'll win the group. So
right, nice. Okay, Brazil,
Cameroon
could happen, but it's
could
not
happen for sure. Yeah, and then Uruguay and Portugal
could happen as well.
Could happen as well. Yep.
Okay.
So not too bad. All right,
Not
let's
too
go
bad.
to a yours here.
Yeah. Okay.
Netherlands, Senegal, still in play. Still in play.
All right.
England, USA, also in play.
Also in play. Argentina,
Mexico is not actually. So how would that? So that could theoretically happen if Argentina just beats the crap out of Poland,
right?
And then Mexico beats Saudi Arabia. That's how you can get that one too.
Chances are slim there.
You would think, but Argentina also does need to win, so they're gonna have to go for it, which means they might score a lot.
True.
Like if they win, if they lose that game, they're out. So
stranger things have happened. So
France, Denmark, that's right there in play. Spain, Germany also in play for the 1-2 in that order.
Right.
Croatia, Belgium can't happen. I'm pretty sure that can't happen, right? We looked at the home.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like that's not possible anymore.
Here it is.
Yeah, because if Croatia wins, Belgium's out. If they tie, Belgium will be behind Morocco on goal difference. So the only way that could happen is if like Morocco gets just blown out by Canada.
Right.
So not likely.
Yep. Okay. All right. And then
still not bad. Brazil, Cameroon definitely in play, and Uruguay, Portugal definitely in play as well.
Perfect. All right. What do you got? Let's see yours.
Senegal, Netherlands. That's not looking good.
No.
Well, I guess Senegal need to win, and then
still a possibility.
Oh yeah, but Netherlands has to like lose to Qatar or something.
Mexico, Argentina, definitely not.
Yeah, that's definitely way out. Yeah, Mexico cannot win that group. France, Denmark is still in play. Germany, Spain is not. I mean, they could both go through, but Germany can't win that group.
Right.
Belgium, Croatia is not in play.
Switzerland is
and Portugal, Uruguay is.
Okay. All right. So we're still there. We're still all right. We're still
okay. Some of these, I mean, that Germany kind of effed all of our brackets up. So did Belgium.
Oh yeah.
But then, if you start looking at the knockouts, this is where, like, if we get the order wrong, then all these matchups don't happen.
It's all about the order, right?
Because if you look at the bracket, the way it works is they separate the group teams on the opposite sides of the bracket. So, for example, like this is the US's group, right? Is Group B. So the runner up is here. The winner is all the way in the other half of the bracket.
Gotcha.
Because you can't play a team from your group until the final. So if we got the order wrong, like, I had it, Germany 1, Spain 2, and it ends up Spain 1, Germany 2. It completely messed up your entire knockout stage.
We're about to get at least one knockout group.
Yeah, but you're probably not going to have the matchup that was there.
Right.
Yeah. So, but anyway, actually good news for us Americans. If the U.S. advances, they will either be playing Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, that'll be great.
Next weekend, and not the weekday round of 16 matches.
Gotcha.
Group B is good for that. It'll be I believe it is it's right here. So what do we say it was 8 hours? So it'll either be Saturday morning at 10 a.m. if they runner up, and if they win the group, it'll be Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m.
Okay.
So if the U.S. advances, but either way,
10 a.m. at Fritz and Franz, baby.
Oh God.
Hey, if you're in town, which I think you are.
Yeah, but I'm actually there's going to be a conflict there because I am in town for my niece's birthday, which is on that Saturday. So, I might be watching on my phone.
Your niece, your shmeese, whatever.
That's the only reason I'm here. But
oh man, all right. Well, we'll probably get back with you guys sometime later, towards the end of the week, if not towards the end of Sunday after knockout stage begins.
I think we're trying to do something in our normal time slot,
right? Like
Wednesday at 9. So we'll see if we can do something there, and kind of the U.S. will be done, so we'll know if they
got through. That's true. That's true. So make sure you check us out here. We'll give you some updates on Twitter and let you know what we put together for Wednesday night. And of course, if you are watching this, go check us out tomorrow night at 8:30 on the Six Rings Canes channel.
Yeah,
It's going to be an interesting show, that's for sure. So
yeah, I'm gonna try and talk about basketball, and we'll see how that goes.
not going to happen. Not going to happen. Keep it locked, though. Thank you guys for joining us here on the World Cup special with the Hitting the Apex crew. And hey, listen, we might have some F1 news for you as well. So keep it locked, and we'll see you guys on Monday night tomorrow for Six Rings Canes, and Wednesday night for the World Cup updates as well.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys soon. Adios.
Yeah.